Detroit Lions just got good. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Detroit Lions news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is the Detroit Lions set the tone with more wins and clinch playoffs. The Detroit Lions will indeed have the services of Jamal Adams at their disposal for their Thursday night game against the Green Bay Packers. Adams was named as one of the team's practice squad elevations for the pivotal NFC North primetime showdown. The defense has been strapped for depth after a number of injuries, and the veteran addition is expected to help the defense in some capacity against Green Bay. Outside, linebacker Mitchell Agood was also elevated from the practice squad to provide depth in the front seven. The Lions, meanwhile, have already ruled out Levi Onwuzurike, DJ Reader, and Josh Paschal for the Week 14 contest. Agood could be utilized as a pass rusher in what will be his 2024 debut. He impressed during training camp with his ability to get after opposing passers and is the latest defensive lineman to get a shot on the active roster. Additionally, wide receiver return specialist Maurice Alexander was signed to the active roster. He will presumably continue to handle return duties with Khalif Raymond on injured reserve. Formerly an all-pro defensive, back in 2019 with the New York Jets, Adams was most recently with the Tennessee Titans this season. He requested and was granted his release in October and signed with the Lions practice squad on Sunday. Detroit can utilize Adams 3 times as a practice squad elevation before being forced to decide whether or not to add him to the active roster. It's worth noting that Adams was participating in positional drills with the team's linebackers during the open portion of practice on Monday. While Adams has been a safety throughout his career, he has the necessary physicality and versatility to contribute in this position. With the Lions being limited in depth at linebacker, there could be a path to instant playing time situationally for the veteran. "Obviously, I feel like I can do a little bit of everything," Adams said. "Whatever they ask me to do, I'm definitely going to do it to the best of my ability and just fly around and continue to make plays." The second story is Lions' $14 million star predicted to bounce from Detroit to Colts. The Detroit Lions have emerged as one of the top teams in the NFL this season, boasting an impressive 10-1 record under head coach Dan Campbell. With 9 straight victories following a 1-1 start, Detroit sits comfortably atop the NFC North as Week 13 approaches. Their recent domination over the Indianapolis Colts further solidifies their position as a Super Bowl contender. However, as Thanksgiving and the matchup against the Chicago Bears draw near, a looming question threatens the Lions' future. Will star cornerback Carlton Davis remain in Detroit beyond this season? While the Lions' high-powered offense often takes center stage, Aaron Glenn's defense has been pivotal to their success. Detroit's secondary, a glaring weakness in 2023, has transformed into a formidable unit in 2024, thanks in large part to the off-season acquisition of Carlton Davis. Traded from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after 6 seasons, Davis has brought experience, leadership, and elite playmaking to Detroit. This year, the 27-year-old cornerback has excelled, recording 2 interceptions and holding opposing quarterbacks to a mere 80.4 passer rating when targeting him. His consistent performance has helped anchor a defense that now ranks among the league's best. Davis' pedigree is undeniable. A second-round pick out of Auburn in 2018, he has started 86 games in his career and was a key contributor to the Buccaneers' Super Bowl 55 victory. However, his contract situation complicates matters for the Lions, as Davis is set to become an unrestricted free agent this spring. General manager Brad Holmes faces a tough task in keeping Davis in Detroit. As one of the top cornerbacks in the league, Davis is expected to draw significant interest on the open market. Teams desperate for help in the secondary will likely offer lucrative deals to secure his services. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox recently predicted that Davis could leave Detroit and join the Indianapolis Colts, a team in dire need of defensive upgrades. The Colts, plagued by one of the league's weakest secondaries, have struggled to prevent explosive plays over the last few seasons. Adding a player of Davis's caliber would immediately elevate their defense, providing them with a reliable CB1 and stabilizing their backfield. Indianapolis appears well-positioned to pursue Davis in free agency. According to Over the Cap, the Colts will have approximately $50 million in cap space this offseason, giving them the financial flexibility to offer Davis a competitive deal. The Colts' secondary has been a persistent Achilles heel, and their front office will likely prioritize bolstering this area during the offseason. Signing Davis would address a critical need while also sending a message that Indianapolis is serious about competing in 2025. If Davis were to leave Detroit, the Lions would face a significant void in their defense. His departure would not only impact the team's performance, but also disrupt the chemistry of a secondary that has become a cornerstone of their success. Brad Holmes and the Lions front office will need to weigh the cost of re-signing Davis against their other financial commitments. With the team already investing heavily in their core players, retaining a top-tier cornerback like Davis may strain their salary cap. For Davis, the decision will come down to where he feels most valued and where he sees the best opportunity for success. While Detroit offers a chance to contend for championships with an already dominant roster, Indianapolis provides the prospect of being a foundational piece in rebuilding a struggling defense. As the 2024 season progresses and free agency looms closer, Carlton Davis's future will remain a key storyline. His performance on the field and the Lions' ability to negotiate a deal that satisfies both parties will determine whether he stays in Detroit or seeks new opportunities elsewhere. Carlton Davis's contributions have been instrumental in transforming the Detroit Lions secondary into one of the NFL's most feared units. However, the impending free agency period presents a significant challenge for the Lions as they look to retain their star cornerback. With the Indianapolis Colts emerging as a potential suitor, the battle for Davis's signature could shape the fortunes of both franchises in 2025. For now, Lions fans can only hope that the team finds a way to keep their $14 million defensive star in Detroit, while Colts fans may begin to dream of a revamped defense led by one of the league's best cornerbacks.
So with week 15 just around the corner, we got our money on some great bets, and one of the bets that I do like right now on BetUS is none other than Baltimore Ravens to beat the New York Giants. So when it comes to this, I do place my bets on BetUS, one of the fastest payouts in the industry, and right now they do have 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. So definitely go check them out, one of my favorite platforms to make bets on. And when it comes to this Baltimore Ravens game and also other week 15 NFL games, there are a lot of bets to put down. So definitely go check out BetUS, 150% bonus on your first deposit and then 125% bonus on the next two deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150.
The third story is Dan Campbell on Lions trading for DE help. I don't think it's entirely up to us. As the NFL trade deadline approaches, the Detroit Lions are actively exploring ways to bolster their pass rush. Head coach Dan Campbell, speaking Monday from the team's facility in Allen Park, acknowledged the organization's efforts but tempered expectations, noting that a deal might not materialize despite their best efforts. "I don't think it's entirely up to us," Campbell said. "I can tell you we're trying. Brad Holmes is trying. And we've looked at everything, we really have. Made a ton of calls and he's been rolling on it, so we'll see. We still got a little bit of time here. We've got till tomorrow evening, so we'll see what happens." The Lions, enjoying one of their strongest seasons in recent history, are sitting atop the NFC North with a 6-2 record. Their offense, led by quarterback Jared Goff, has been firing on all cylinders. But the defense has shown vulnerabilities, particularly in generating consistent pressure on opposing quarterbacks. While Detroit's defensive line boasts promising talent, including standout edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson, the unit lacks depth and has struggled to consistently disrupt passing games. This deficiency has left the team exploring options on the trade market, to add a proven pass rusher capable of complementing Hutchinson and fortifying the team's defensive front. General Manager Brad Holmes has been at the forefront of Detroit's trade discussions, working tirelessly to evaluate potential fits and initiate negotiations with other teams. According to Campbell, Holmes has been making a ton of calls in the lead-up to the deadline. However, the trade market is notoriously unpredictable, and acquiring top-tier talent often hinges on factors beyond a team's control, such as player availability and the willingness of other franchises to negotiate. Detroit's focus on adding pass rush help underscores the team's commitment to competing at the highest level this season. While the Lions have shown resilience on defense, the lack of consistent pressure has been a recurring issue,